reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Hello, everyone, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. As always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate the support. So today is an interesting day because, as we all know, the royals are going to be touching down in the Bahamas this afternoon. I speak of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Kate and William. And you know how we go when the royals come in town. We pull out all of our best and, sweep up the streets and make sure everything looks nice and good for them when they arrive. And so they are expected to arrive this afternoon, and we are going to, we may have to cut the show a little early and cut to the airport where our Shelley Lewis is standing by, who will be providing coverage for Global of the royal visit. And so whenever I get the cue from them, then we're going to throw it over to them. But I find it interesting that on the day that the royals arrive, we're going to be talking on the show today about Crown land, and specifically one piece of Crown land that has been in the news for quite a bit as of late because of a fight that has been going on over this piece of Crown land. And we are going to talk to one of the principals who has been involved in the fight, a Bahamian who has been trying to get this Crown land so that he can develop it into something that can be a great attraction for our visitors and a means of employment for Bahamians. But he's been getting a lot of pushback. And unless you live under a rock, you are probably familiar with the name Toby Smith. And we can, I don't know if you've done it already, but we can bring him up onto the screen. Toby Smith, who is a gentleman, a Bahamian, who's been trying since the former administration, and I guess he can bring us up to date on how we got to where we are today, for those of you who have been living under a rock. But he's been trying to get the rights to a piece of Crown land on Paradise Island on which a historic lighthouse sits. And Toby has a vision for that becoming not just an eyesore, but developing it and refurbishing it and making it the centerpiece of an attraction for Bahamians and visitors alike to enjoy. Now, Toby, welcome. First of all, welcome to GPS.
Thank you very much for having me today, Michelle. I appreciate it.
No worries. So we know that under the former administration, you were granted lease for the land,
Yes.
and then they were approached by Royal Caribbean
After the fact.
after
yes.
the fact that you had gotten your lease.
Yes.
And Royal Caribbean also expressed interest in this piece of property
Yes.
as a site for something that they wanted to develop. And then it seems the former administration was torn between two lovers, if you want to put it that way, because they had already said yes to you.
And offered me a lease and I accepted it.
And then this other lover came along who they figured was more, pretty handsome and had more money.
More
and,
royal.
And so they decide, okay, I could cheat on this first lover.
Right.
But this second lover, because this second lover could offer me more than the first lover offered me.
Right. So they think. So that's the way they're pitching it. And they could offer them free cruises and whatnot too.
Boy.
Yeah.
So, but at the meantime, the first lover say, no. You ain't explain me like that.
Right.
I ain't going to wait quietly.
Right.
So by the time the election happened, where were you at with that former administration, Toby?
I had them in court.
Mhm.
They told me that the documents that they had provided to me weren't valid. They weren't prepared to respect my lease. They said it's not worth the piece of paper it's written on. And just to qualify, that was the Minnis administration. They were the ones that issued me the lease after me trying for 8 years. And then, as you said, Royal Caribbean chirped up after the deal was done and said, hey, we feel entitled. We're royalty. We want that. And they want this Bahamian land. Meanwhile, I'm Bahamian. And I'm standing my ground. So I drew the line in the sand. And I said, right, you all want a battle? Then it's game on. So right now I'm in a battle of David versus two Goliaths. One is the government and the other one is Royal Caribbean. And when the current administration were in opposition, while Prime Minister Minnis was in power, they made it clear that their position was that they would cancel any lease done with Royal Caribbean, that my lease superseded their lease, and that they would honor my agreement. And the PM, Brave Davis, gave me his word as his bond that he would honor my lease.
Well, we actually have footage of then opposition leader. He was then in the opposition, Brave Davis.
Right.
And at that time, and this would be clip number 1, Jason, he was in essence saying what you just said, that, we're not going to honor the second lover because the first lover was there first. So let's just go to that clip and let that speak for itself.
Opposition leader Philip Davis has promised that the next PLP administration will cancel the lease for Crown land on Paradise Island that the Minnis administration is currently negotiating with Royal Caribbean International. Davis labeled the deal a stitched-up secret deal that has no doubt arisen out of the F&M administration's desperate attempt to support the fire sale of the Grand Lucerne Resort to RCI. Opposition leader Philip Davis has promised that the next PLP administration will cancel the lease for Crown land on Paradise Island that the Minnis administration is currently negotiating with Royal Caribbean International. Davis labeled the deal a stitched-up secret deal that has no doubt arisen out of the F&M administration's desperate attempt to support the fire sale of the Grand Lucerne Resort to RCI.
Given Royal Caribbean long-standing operations in the Bahamas, there is no proven additional economic value or exercise of any corporate social responsibility. This latest deal simply generates more profits for Royal Caribbean. In order to preserve public access and government ownership of this only remaining public beach on that part of Paradise Island, a better arrangement would be to create a public-private partnership.
During the signing of the heads of agreement for the sale of the Grand Lucerne, RCI President Michael Bailey confirmed RCI's plan to construct a $50 million attraction called the Royal Beach Club. The completion date is slated for 2022. A critical component of the attraction would be a beachfront property at Colonial Beach, which government owns some 17 acres of. A government official said one of the reasons for moving forward with the deal is because of the need to ensure Nassau remains an attractive destination for cruise ships given the expansion of private island destinations. Davis questioned the logic behind it, considering government entered into a $250 million agreement with Global Ports Holding to redevelop and manage the Nassau cruise port.
I thought that their engagement of Global Ports to redevelop Prince George Dock was the answer to making Nassau more attractive to cruise ships.
The opposition leader expressed concern that marine life could be impacted and claims Bahamian businesses operating on the western end of the beach would be substantially destroyed. Davis stressed that the deal would set back Bahamian industries and block Bahamians from the enjoyment of asset use and value in what little is available for ordinary Bahamians.
This is grossly unfair to Bahamians, and the next PLP government will terminate this agreement. No non-Bahamian entity should receive preferential consideration over the many Bahamian applicants who have attempted to procure this property. Thirdly, all attempts to purchase this property in the past have been denied for reasons overwhelmingly in the public.
Okay, we're back. All right, so we're having some technical issues, guys. Apologize for that. In essence, like I said, he was speaking as the leader of the opposition at the time, that report by our news had been submitted. And I know, Toby, that when you heard that, you must have said, hallelujah!
I mean, Rico, we finally getting somewhere.
It's a new day. That's right. I solemnly did. And to be honest, I had that same eureka moment when I got issued offered the lease by government. But bear in mind, when they offered me the lease, that was the 7th of January 2020, and they signed the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, the Heads of Agreement, rather, with Grand Lion on the 4th of March. So just a few weeks after they offered me the lease and I accepted it, they already double dealing the same land and offering it to RCL on the 26th of February. And on the 27th of February is when they called me into the office of Prime Minister, and Carl Bethel wanted to tell me with Joshua Sears and Candia Ferguson, my documents ain't valid. They ain't worth a piece of paper they're written on. So it was obviously, like Prime Minister Davis said, a stitched up deal, a desperate deal, and it marginalizes Bahamians, especially when you got a deal already with a Bahamian.
Wow. So the government that issued the lease to you then turns around and says, that ain't what the paper had written on. What does that speak to the government? If you're going to issue a lease and then turn around and say, this ain't what the paper's written on, then is anything that you sign what the paper's written on?
Well, that's it. How do you attract international investors? How do you look on a global basis when you have no qualms in double dealing the same land and screwing over a Bahamian in the process? Where are your scruples and moral, where's your moral compass in doing that? You're supposed to be representing Bahamians, not representing your own agenda. So where you're representing Bahamians on a global platform in issuing leases and then just thinking you could walk away from it, and then issuing the same lease knowingly or the same property to RCL. How does RCL even get engaged knowing that there's all this ruckus going on, and then telling me, well, Toby, your problems with the government, go talk with the government? So all of them are complicit. They know exactly what they've done. They knew at the time exactly what they're doing. They acknowledged what they're doing and what they've done. And I was assured, as per that clip, it clearly says by now Prime Minister Davis that he will cancel any deal done with RCL for Crown Land on Paradise Island. Bahamians are getting marginalized, not just on Paradise Island, but especially on Paradise Island at Cabbage Beach. Bahamians can't get access to the beach over there. Mm-hmm. And this is the only beach that Bahamians would be able to have access to, which is Colonial Beach. And given, and it's appropriate now, I mean, given what people are saying about colonialism, that I think it's only fair to rename it Lighthouse Beach, and let's try and move ahead from that chapter. So I see us going backwards in offering RCL a lease that's already been offered to a Bahamian.
Now, you also wrote a letter to the Crown.
Yes.
What? Tell us about the contents of that letter.
So, yeah, I thought it appropriate to write to the Queen, as the Queen has given the government of the Bahamas the trust and fiduciary responsibility of Crown land on behalf of the Crown, being the Queen. So the way that I look at it is that the Crown land is for the Bahamian people. The way that the government looks at it is Crown land is government land, and it's not government land. It's the government's responsibility to make sure that that land is used for in the best interest of Bahamians. So I wrote to the Queen to say that apparently government dishing it out to anybody and everybody that wants it, especially if they're foreign. So when you go online and you look at the application for Crown land, it segregates Bahamians. It clearly says that if there's a foreign component, then the application for Crown land should come through the Bahamas Investment Authority, where, as you and I both know, the red carpet is rolled out. Whereas for Bahamians, it tells us, form a different line, back at a bus, and you all go down to lands and surveys and put your application in there. So at BIA, they get the red treatment. At lands and surveys, we get the red tape. And there's, at last count, approximately 35,000 applications for Crown land in the Bahamas. But yet Royal Caribbean can swoop in, and within a couple of months of them asking, not even applying, of them asking, all of a sudden some deal is done by Minis and RCL.
And for the record, how long? Because this saga didn't begin with the Minis administration, in all fairness. So how long have you been trying to get this done?
So starting in 2012, Mr. Prime Minister Ingram was just on his way out in May 2012. So I've been through the tail end of Prime Minister Ingram, and I've got no axe to grind with PM Ingram. I'm not holding him responsible. I went all the way through Prime Minister Perry Christie's term, all the way through PM Minis's term, and now here I am at a new term with a new day with Prime Minister Davis.
And how many years does that amount to? You said
It
2012?
It amounts to 10 years,
10 years.
on the next month.
10 years.
10 years. And this is what I've been doing for the last 10. It's a full-time job of begging, jonesing, oh, yes, Minister. Oh, yes, Minister. Trying to get ahead and writing letters after letters, email. I mean, thousands of letters and whatnot. And once I saw that they were double dealing it, then I went and sought the assistance of the Supreme Court. And I filed in May 2020 a writ against the government of the Bahamas through the Attorney General, simply asking for my lease to be honored.
Now, for the record, you're not asking them for any help developing this property. You're not looking for a handout. You have your plan in place.
Yeah.
You have a viable business that you think is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Why do you believe it is that even though you come clearly ready to make this happen, that your government, and when I say your, it's all of our government, no matter which party you support, but your government would prefer to deal with a foreign entity, even though it's not like you scrapping. It's not like you don't have the means or the ways to get this done. Why do you think that is?
Well, as Prime Minister Ingram said, looks like a cookie jar to me, doesn't it? It's a cookie jar.
Oh, my God.
So why? Well, I'll go back to my original point. Who gives these guys free cruises? Who flies them around in private jets? Who provides for their political campaigns? Who's going to, say, come over and let me give your niece and nephew a job? I mean, all these things. They'll wave this stick and say we're going to create billions in revenues and millions for this and that. But let's just have a look at it from a mathematical point of view. That, yeah, I've got a whole business plan. I submitted the business plan to the government over many years. It's self-sustaining. It's going to raise capital. It's going to inject that capital, develop it, and we're right across the road or across the harbor from the arrival of 7 million tourists. So when you look at it from an economic perspective, why would it be that the government would support any cruise line that is proven mathematically that they export approximately 80 to 85% of the revenues made in the Bahamas out of the country for the benefit of foreign shareholders? So for every $100 that's made in the Bahamas, about 85 of those dollars is immediately taken out of the country, which leaves Bahamians scrapping over $15.
Mm-hmm.
So if the government, whoever reign that it is, wishes Bahamians to fight over $15, then yeah, we have to fight for it in taxi fares and hair braiding and getting our hustle on to try get a piece of that $15. What I'm saying is that while my development might be smaller, and I believe that a small, sustainable, low impact tourism product is going to be far more of a greater success, that if I generate $16 and that money stays in the Bahamas and circulates around,
It's still more than the 15.
that's more than 15 that actually remains.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, yes, they might come with this, predictions of billions and billions, but when you look at how much actually ends up and stays in the Bahamian economy, it's proven mathematically that these cruise ships are looking out for their fat bonuses. And I mean, they were offering a 7-day cruise for $549, right? How much can we expect a cruise passenger to spend, let alone of that spending, how much actually ends up in a Bahamian bank, in Bahamian pockets, and circulates the Bahamian economy? Very little is the clear answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
So with my project, yeah, it's self-sustaining. I've been ready to go since that time. I've been waiting 10 years. So it's rather ironic that the government would say, well, how do we know you're actually going to make a move on this? Or how do we know you're actually going to be successful in it? Well, so far, the government is, $2 billion in debt in running a country? They're probably not the best ones to be able to advise, let alone manage a business.
Toby, you need to stop mashing. Go on, man. I saw some people listening to this. Ouch, ouch.
Ouch.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day. God bless you again today, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
All right, bless. Hey, Toby.
Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. I get a blessing too?
Man, you so blessed. You don't even know how much of that you got on you, brother.
Oh, respect. Thank you. I am blessed. I agree with you. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know why you're blessed? Because you're a Bahamian who cares. Michelle is a Bahamian who cares, and she is giving you the opportunity to share your blessing around.
Thank you.
Now, what I am wanting to ask you, Toby, first of all, you made reference to your writing the Queen. Any response yet from the Queen?
No, not yet, but it was only day before. I wouldn't expect it to move that
okay,
fast.
Okay, got it. You also mentioned your approach to the Supreme Court. You had any resolution there yet?
No, but on the 30th of March is when my trial is expected to have a hearing.
So just a few days from now.
Just next week.
Got it. Okay. Also, in regards to the changeover of government from last year, September, shortly thereafter, there were 2 articles in the Guardian, I think. One of which you were talking about, opening up the your project to Bahamian or shareholder involvement.
Right.
And I noticed a response that somebody criticized you on or querying rather whether or not you had the money to develop your project. So for the record and for clarity's sake, please let the Bahamian people know whether or not Toby Smith indeed has the money to develop that project.
Yes, Toby Smith does, yes indeed, on the record, have the financial backing for this project.
Right. Are you able to disclose the amount you have?
I've got more than what I need that's sitting on the sidelines that is poised to invest. And I wish that anybody that doubts that, just to make it clear, right? If you were to, for instance, go to the bank and say, hey, lend me this money because I want to build on this property over here. Yeah.
Right.
The government is going to say, well, show me where you have claim to that land. Show me your deeds, your title or something. Right.
Right.
So, I mean, it's pretty clear that the government is saying that they do not wish to honor my lease, which presents a difficulty for my investors and personally for me too. What am I investing in if the foundation isn't a solid foundation? I don't have a lease I have a lease that the government is not honoring. Their
lease, by the way, that they gave,
our lease. Yeah. The lease that they drafted and offered to me.
Right.
They're even denying drafting the lease. They said that I drafted the lease. But that's all within the court documents.
But I thought that was clarified. Didn't D'Aguilar come out afterward? No, did in fact offer him a lease?
You want the clip where he said that Toby has a valid lease? Toby has a lease. He said it several times. Clint Watson said on the as the press secretary that Toby has a valid lease.
We can talk that on the other side of the break.
Right. But so allow me then to make a few other quick comments here, Michelle, or points. Toby.
Yes.
Now that you're at this point, since the Davis administration came in, what kind of a response have you had so far?
That is in my next segment.
Okay. I will definitely submit and let you deal with that one, Michelle. But Toby, let me say to you in conclusion.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I was a Bahamian who was fighting for 18 years to get my piece of Crown land.
Did you get it?
I must happily say yes.
Yeah, boy.
January,
well done.
In January of this year, after 18 years of fighting,
wow,
I finally got my Crown grant documents from the government. And you said it rightly earlier, Toby. The Crown land does not belong to the government.
Right.
Crown land is the collective ownership of the Bahamian people. It's only being managed, or supposed to be managed, in the best interest of you and me, the Bahamian people.
Thank you very much.
And the last comment is this: the wickedness that is being perpetrated against you, it is so glaringly obvious that even a statue see it.
For real.
Even the one with the broke leg?
Man, even the statue ain't even got no head with eyes on it to see, make sure I can see that.
Yeah, you see that? So it's glaringly obvious. So the government can simply make a choice.
You see,
the Bahamian is either go against the Bahamian people, and there's many Bahamians that support me. You know, there's a couple of naysayers. All right, you're entitled to your opinion, no problem. But a majority of people walk out to me, hearing me, and say, "Man, Toby, man, I support you, man." Almost every day, someone approaches me.
You see,
we got to take a break.
All right then. Okay, I will end that now then, Michelle.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. My main concern about this whole thing is you, as a government, trying to tell me that you could issue me a document and then turn around and tell me the document ain't worth nothing. That's a scary thought. But anyway, we're going to talk more about that on the other side of this break. We do have to take a commercial break, y'all. We got to pay our bills, and so we're going to give this opportunity for our sponsors to have a word. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Toby Smith, because that question that the last caller asked is what we're going to turn our attention to. Now that the Progressive Liberal Party is in government, what are they saying as it relates to this project? That on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Weston, Lux, fuel, track life, tough, rough racing, velocity, mud, all-terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, talking today with Toby Smith, who is the gentleman behind this 10-year saga of trying to get Crown Land to develop an attraction on Paradise Island and in the vicinity of the lighthouse, the historic lighthouse that sits there. For those of you who are familiar with the story, I don't see how you could be living in the Bahamas and not be. He had been issued a lease by the former administration, and then they also got into some talks with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And long story short, they tried to push Toby out and said, the lease that we issued you is no longer valid. And Toby said, nah, I ain't going that easy. I ain't gonna let you get away with that. So this fight has been going on now, started before the Minister administration, as he clearly laid out. It's been going on now for 10 years. And boy, I don't know, that last caller said he was fighting for 18. Good God. I mean, you got another 8 to go. I pray not. But that could be very discouraging. That could be, I'm not trying to discourage you. Hopefully your experience will be better than his. I want to go now to a clip of now Prime Minister. Remember the first clip that we saw, he was the leader of the opposition at the time. Well, now he's the Prime Minister. And actually in this clip, we're hearing from Clint Watson, who's speaking on behalf of the office of the Prime Minister with regard to the position as it now stands regarding this ongoing saga. So let's go to clip
The Davis
number 2,
administration
please.
is looking to reach an amicable resolution over The Davis administration is looking to reach an amicable resolution over disputed beachfront property on Paradise Island. The land in dispute is on the western peninsula of Paradise Island, where Bahamian businessman Toby Smith said he planned to develop into his own beach club after receiving a letter dated January 7, 2020, agreeing to lease the land to his company, Paradise Island Lighthouse and Beach Club Company Limited. But Royal Caribbean also plans for a project of its own on the property.
There is no position by the government yet. There's no position by the government. The issue is, and I'll explain this to you, the previous government, as you would have known, granted two people a grant for same land, a lease for same land. Toby Smith, as you mentioned, and of course Royal Caribbean. Now, we know you can't grant the same person, you can't grant two different people the same plot of land. And so that's where the first issue lies, right? It's Toby Smith and RCL. We know we've been seeing what's been playing out with them. Toby Smith, as you would have known in the media, was granted the land first. So by all accounts of any court, if you go to court and discuss this, the court will say, well, who was granted the land first ought to be the one who holds the land.
Royal Caribbean Cruise Line is interested in developing a beach excursion on Paradise Island, given that it plans to greatly increase the number of passengers it brings into Nassau in the future and needs to expand its options for them when they leave a ship while in port. Last week, RCI Chief Executive Officer Michael Bailey described the cruise ship company's beach club plans for Paradise Island, explaining to the media that RCI is close to concluding all of the issues surrounding the project. But environmentalists have also spoken out against RCI's proposed development, where the company has purchased several private plots of land and obtained a government crown land lease for more acreage.
Position has always been known by the Prime Minister, and that is Bahamians first. That has not changed. It will not change. The agenda of Bahamians always comes first. What we're trying to do, though, because of the nature of the situation, is find an amicable agreement for both parties, for all to be satisfied in this, and most importantly, not just for both sides, but for the Bahamian people.
First, Bahamians first, Bahamians first. Has that been your experience thus far with the Davis administration as it relates to this project?
No.
Explain, please.
So, I mean, according to that news clip, they had Royal Caribbean right after Prime Minister Davis came into office. They had RCL in there already for meetings, and they said in public media, RCL said that they're finalizing the deal. Apparently, government were a bit irate that they'd go out and issue such a statement and said there's no such thing. So enough respect to Clinton Watson. I appreciate that he went on record in saying what he said. And they said that they would bring me in for a meeting and hopefully be able to resolve things so that it'd be an amicable arrangement between me and RCL. Well, I was brought into a meeting a couple of weeks ago. So while RCL is in there within a few days of Brave Davis getting in as Prime Minister, I was brought in almost 6 months later. But it wasn't, unfortunately, a meeting to resolve. I'm still hopeful that we could resolve this matter, and I'm using diplomacy and try not to mash people's corns to try and bring about a resolve for this whole thing. But you know, RCL, the last time that I met with RCL, they asked me for a copy of my site plan, and they asked me on the pretense that they could have a look at my site plan so that they could put it into a 3D model and see how their development would look on a reduced footprint, end quote. And I gave them my site plan, and a couple of days later, they're like, well, actually, we've got to come clean. We actually received the lease from the government within the last couple of days, which was a lie. They'd had it for about a month. And I said, okay, cool. Well, in the spirit of reciprocation, can you please provide me a copy of your site plan that's contained within your lease?
When did this conversation happen with them?
This was June 2021.
Okay.
So last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them a copy of my site plan. They gave me a copy of their site plan. But I understand that their lease doesn't actually even have a site plan, and it doesn't have a legal description of the land. Meanwhile, my lease has a site plan that's been recorded at Lands and Surveys and has a accurate legal description that complements the site plan that was drafted for it.
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand something that you said a moment ago. Am I understanding you correctly in that you were saying that the Davis administration did call you in for a meeting, but this was 6 months after they met with Royal Caribbean? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So Royal Caribbean met with the PM almost as soon as he got in. And Clint said in that clip that they're going to meet with both parties before a decision was made. And I was just invited in to meet with the Prime Minister a week before last.
Okay. And I suppose that there's some things that were discussed in that meeting that you cannot...
I'd prefer not to, because in the spirit of diplomacy and trying to find a resolve, I'd rather not. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied, based on what took place in that meeting, that you are going to get some satisfaction from this, or do you feel that you are back in square one?
No, I'm not back to square one. I'm going to get the end. I'm going to get to an end result, which is having my lease on it. So I've got two tracks in order to be able to reach that objective. Either the ocean route, which is going through the courts and arrive hopefully at a decision by the Justice of the Supreme Court to rule in my favor, is my hope. Or I could go the scenic route, which is use diplomacy, go through the government, and hopefully the government will say, yeah, the minister's definitely skinning up with you, and we're going to honor your lease, Tobes, and everything is cool. Let's get to work and, forward, upward, together, onward. But it's either the scenic route or the ocean route, but I'm still going to end up at the same objective of getting my lease on it.
So the reason that you have decided to continue on with the court case is because you are not at this point convinced 100% that you will get recourse without going in that direction.
Until I get a lease that's been honored, either by the government is going to honor the lease, or the Supreme Court is going to rule that the lease is valid and should be honored, then I'm going to continue on my quest, which is getting Crown land so that us Bahamians can enjoy it. The same way that government doles out Crown land, entire islands and keys to foreigners, that a Bahamian gets a stab at it.
I like the way you put it, red tape versus red carpet.
Yeah, well, I could put it many ways, but this is radio, so I can't.
Please don't. Yeah, we don't want to be getting a call from Urca for
Hi, Urca.
Okay, so wow, Toby, what's next? We know the court case is coming up
on the 30th of March. Is finally I get the opportunity to be able to be represented in court. The facts will be laid on the table. There are many facts, and it boils down to a tour match where basically the government is saying in their defense that I drafted the lease, I proposed it to government, and the minister responsible decided that he wasn't going to accept my proposal of a lease that I drafted. Meanwhile, the case is that they offered me a lease on the 7th of January with a cover letter that said approved Crown land lease for me to sign, seal, witness, notarize, deliver it back to them, and make payment. And I did all of the above, and I did it within the time frame that was prescribed within the lease itself. So if they have a different take on what actually went on, then there's documents to prove otherwise, and that's what I presented to the court.
I was just going to say that's fairly easy to prove.
Yeah. Well, in my mind it is, and I've got a preponderance of evidence that I believe is the right evidence to. But I can't say how the judge must rule.
Yeah.
The evidence is presented, and based on the preponderance of evidence, then they make a ruling on that. I'm confident that I have a valid lease.
Did they accept the payment that you made?
They accepted it because it was hand delivered with a cover letter from my lawyers at the Attorney General's office and signed for as being received.
And they took the money.
They took the check. They didn't cash it. I had to wait 6 months, and I was watching my account to see if they did cash it, but they didn't cash it. But I offered payment, so they can't say, "Oh, he never paid for it," which
they never turned the check back, and they just was holding it for 6 months.
Yeah, but that's all right. They ain't got no. Let me tell you, every single piece of what they've got that they've tried to offer, there's a very valid mented. There's lots of stuff there. Bear in mind, this is 10 years of me doing this as a full-time job. If they believe that they could present evidence in court that would speak otherwise to me having a valid lease, then go for it. What I'm dismayed at is that the Minister administration told me my lease wasn't valid, and the then opposition were taking a position of, we're going to respect Toby's lease. We're going to cancel RCL's lease. But I haven't heard it in the public domain that they've canceled RCL's lease, nor have I heard it in the public domain that they're willing to honor my lease. Therefore, I must make the conclusion that they wish to continue fighting with me through the courts.
Wow. Do you think that there is an effort to frustrate you to the point where you just throw up your hands and say, forget about it? And then they can say, well, he's pulled away. So now we have the freedom to do what we want to do. You think that's
they
what
could
it
try
is?
that. But that actually incentivates me and makes me dig deeper, and makes me dig up. It makes me dig deeper and encourages me, just as perhaps when people face fear, it might be intimidating to them. But for me, I've managed to work on myself so that fear actually makes me dig deeper and overcome challenges such as this. So if a multi-billion-dollar company listed on the New York Stock Exchange with 5 times the GDP of the Bahamas believe that they can come to the Bahamas and make deals with people of compromise, then if I challenge that, don't be surprised. So it's it's a David versus 2 Goliaths. And, bring it.
I hear that. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Miss Malcolm.
Hi.
Hi, and good afternoon, Toby Smith.
Good afternoon.
This is the blind one, Papa.
Hey, we say Papa.
Everything cool, thank God for life. Toby, this would have been a good, appropriate time with this royal visit for them to be able to cruise and go over there and check this dream with you and your team have fighting for to do for so many years.
In my letter to the Queen, I have invited them, even if it's a glimpse of the Paradise Island Lighthouse, the oldest in West Indies and indeed in the Bahamas.
You went that far and did that.
I included it in my letter, my brother, but thank you, Papa.
Yes. So, Toby, would they come over there and visit it? It's the schedule in this royal visit?
It's not.
I doubt it.
It's not.
Oh, boy.
But they're welcome to if they'd like.
I hope they're listening, or someone listening could let them know.
I hear you. But that fanfare and 3 meets is not reserved for us, though, right?
Don't say him so. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Toby, listen. Tell me something.
Uh-huh.
I remember on the same radio station, a different talk show host asking you.
Uh-huh.
I think I was the caller.
Uh-huh.
I said, Mr. Smith, what did you check the opposition leader? What did Mr. Davis say? And it sounded to me, if I could remember, you sound like you say, Mr. Davis say, when they went, not if they went, but when they went, he would do the right thing and do for you what's supposed to be done and cancel whatsoever commitments the government had with Royal Caribbean.
That's right. That was earlier in the show. That was confirmed by the clips that were run, Pauper, and the PM gave me his word as his bond to me personally.
Yeah.
So what happened now? Toby,
Toby,
I was one of those persons. Last year sometime, a lot of stuff was promised, and by the same Prime Minister, I knew the government, Brave Davis. And I don't know, did you check him after he became Prime Minister in a nutshell? Because I know other callers may be calling. I just want to ask another question. Did you check Mr. Davis? What he's saying now?
Yes, I checked Mr. Davis. And I've asked him, he gave me his word, and I've given him, he gave me his word, and I gave him my word that I would fulfill all my obligations within the lease, and I would make this a showcase product available to Bahamians and tourists for greater access to Crown Land beach access in general, be a shining star on a global platform where I could get movies filming over there, commercials, the whole 9 yards.
So, Toby, nothing happening yet? So, although he give you his commitments and stuff like that, nothing happened yet?
No, but let's just give him some time and space.
Okay, so it's only 6 months. A lot of damage might be done, but I guess if you say enough time, and what I know about Brave Davis, he's a man of his word. But Toby, to tell you the truth, although I'm blind and cannot see, I don't recognize, like, just hearing, I don't recognize my brothers, my Negro brothers anymore in that parliament. I talk about the New Day government. And you're fortunate to be able to speak. I don't know if you speak. I know it's irrelevant if you spoke to him on the phone or in person, right? But it's kind of difficult. Sometimes it seems like these guys.
Papa, you tuned in late, man. He told her how they had a meeting and everything. You must be tuning in late.
Yeah, I tuned in late. So that's a good thing. That's good. I hope he fulfill it. And I think 6 months is enough time to make a decision. I mean, a lot of decisions are being made. You listen every day. Hey, listen, I suggest you sue the government. Sorry to say that. And I tell people, it should be the politicians who we sue to get the money back and not the government, because it's like they taking advantage. These supposed to be smart people making decisions and know when they doing wrong to people and know if it go to court, because they get lawyers around them. They get a bunch of QCs around them, or 2 government, the former one and this one, and they doing foolishness. So I suggest to you, if you see, maybe if 18 months is enough time for you, or 2 years, if you could wait that long and you see nothing happen, I sue them, because it seems like these politicians and these people who move up with these political parties, when they have a matter, whether either it's in front of the court or they feel like they was wrong, when they party in power, they get handled quick. Right now, today in the papers, they talking about Shane Gibson getting $2.5 million. I think it should have been 10 times as much, but not from the public place, because when you embarrass someone and you do them the way how I only could talk, but she ain't Gibson, what I'm aware of what being on the news, right? When you do it that way, then they deserve to get sued because they're making some dumb decisions. And right now, how they dealing with you, both governments, you're talking about 6 months, give them some time. Boy, Toby, boy. Anyhow, everybody different and it's do things them different. I say whensoever you give them the time, would you had enough 2 years or whatsoever, you sue them and hopefully they'll deal with you how they deal with these politicians. Maybe Dorset next to get his money, then the next one, who is Smith, he get his money. Then the rest be people in Freeport, you know.
All right, thanks for
Get
calling.
you on, Toby. Get you on. You deserve it. Sue them.
Thank you, my brother.
All right,
I
thank
done
you.
sued them.
All right. The numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272. 3260272. 3260272 are the numbers to call. We're not going to be giving out the WhatsApp line today because that line is what's going to be used to do the live broadcast for the arrival of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. It's Cambridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will and Kate, yeah. Okay, so no WhatsApp line today. And the numbers to call 3260271 or 3260272. We are talking today to Toby Smith, who is the person behind the 10-year battle to gain access to Crown land on Paradise Island in the vicinity of the lighthouse, where he wants to develop an attraction there that can provide employment, that can be a beautiful attraction for visitors. And he's been given the runaround by successive administrations, but he says that hopefully he may see some glimmer of light at the end of this tunnel after meeting with the now Prime Minister Philip Davis. But we will know what is what because he's going to court still at the end of this month, taking this matter to court because as far as he's concerned, he has a valid lease that should be recognized by the government because the government is the one who issued the lease. And when we say the government, we're not talking PLP, we're not talking FNM, we are talking the government of the Bahamas. Because this supersedes politics now. We're talking about the government of the Bahamas issuing a lease. Whether it happened under the FNM administration, it really doesn't matter at this point. It's just the government. And so Toby has decided that he's going to proceed with the legal action to try and ensure that his lease is recognized as,
valid.
Because quite frankly, if you are a private entity and you go around issuing the same property to two different people, ain't a law against that? Ain't no law against that, Toby.
Yeah, it's called flamming people. But just to square it up though, Michelle, as far as this whole project, and some people might have already heard it before, but just to give people the benefit of the doubt, they haven't, right?
Mm-hmm.
What this project is doing is restoring the Paradise Island Lighthouse. It was built in 1870. It's the oldest lighthouse in the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's the oldest in the area. So when you look at the Southern Caribbean, Central Caribbean, Northern Caribbean, the Bahamas, it's the oldest in all that region. And my story hasn't changed. It's always been that I wish to restore the Paradise Island Lighthouse back to its 1817 former glory, install a dock so that we could have safe access over there, put in pathways, put tour guides, give people historical tours so that we can actually enjoy this beautiful asset and the keeper's quarters and be able to have a burger and a beer and be able to chill out and enjoy the ocean and the lighthouse. And then down on the beach is a beach parcel, which is 3 acres, which is to develop that into a sustainable, low impact beach club. So you could go over there. It's going to be surrounded by native bush, and then have, beautiful Bahamian architecture where people can grab a burger, a beer, lay out in the sun and chill out. So this is open to Bahamians. It's open to the general public. I'm not segregating anyone. I'm not saying this is private. Everyone's invited. People will have general access there. No problem. And that's always been my goal since the very beginning.
I want to, on the other side of the break, because we do have to take another commercial break, but I want to talk about if your project is approved, if this lease is deemed valid and you get the green light to go ahead and develop this project, what that will look like and how that will impact the lives of Bahamians, how that's going to, impact the economy, because whether we realize it or not, two things I want to make a point of before we go to the break. Number one, it is small businesses in a country that drive the economy. Our governments tend to kowtow. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but they tend to bend to big business, especially if they're foreign. But it's the small and medium-sized businesses that are actually the engine of the economy. That's number one. And number two, increasingly around the world, people are not so much interested in, they're looking for an authentic experience, not something that they could find anywhere else. They're looking for an authentic experience. And who better to present an authentic experience than a Bahamian? Now, if you're telling me that you have all of the means to do what you say you're going to do, I don't understand what is the big deal. Is it because we feel that we have to appease these cruise ships because we want them to keep bringing their millions of visitors to the country every year, and so whatever they want, they get? Or is it because we just don't have any value in what we as Bahamians bring to the table? So those are some of the questions that I want us to marinate on, but we do have to take this quick commercial break. When we come back on the other side, though, I want to talk to Toby about, if everything works out and he is granted, this lease is deemed valid and he gets the green light to go ahead, what is that going to look like? How is that going to impact the economy and more specifically the lives of Bahamians? So that's what we're going to be talking about on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm Michelle Malcolm, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with the one and only Mr. Toby Smith. The David has been fighting these couple of Goliaths, have been trying to stop him from living his best life. Toby has been trying to get a lease that was granted to him under the Minutes administration recognized as valid. And he's been trying to get the go-ahead to develop Crown land on Paradise Island, to develop the area where the lighthouse sits. And his goal is to create a one-of-a-kind experience where persons can go and enjoy the afternoon, get some good food, some good eats, some good entertainment, go dip their foot in the beautiful Bahamian water. Mm-hmm. And this is something that Toby has been fighting for now for 10 years. And he is hopeful that this battle is going to end in his favor. Now, if it does, Toby, what will that look like for how will your development contribute to the overall economy, and especially as it relates to job creation?
So when it does, not if.
When, amen.
When, amen. Then how's it going to contribute to the economy? So my mantra and my mission statement from the very beginning of this is it best for the Bahamas, and is it best for Bahamians? And that's going to be the litmus test that every single facet of this development has to pass. So as far as employment is concerned, I'm going to build a team of only Bahamians. And that's going to be from as soon as you go buy your ticket to people that are going to be crafting the website to do online sales, across to the boat captains, the mates, all of the beach staff that are going to be serving drinks, the chefs, the resident artists that we're going to have over there, people doing straw work, people doing the rake and scrape band. All of these things are all going to be Bahamian. So you're going to get an absolutely authentic Bahamian experience, not some Disney World, not some Mickey Mouse operation, not some paved paradise and put in a parking lot with, swimming pools and plastic umbrellas and stuff. This is going to be, and I can't give away, because some people take ideas, right? Yeah. So I can't give away too much of it. But
understood.
It's going to be an authentic Bahamian experience. It's going to be low impact, sustainable. And you mentioned earlier on in the show that some people don't really want all this concrete around them. They want to be able to have a native experience. And that means that, interacting with the locals. It's difficult for locals to be able to go to these resorts and hang out with the tourists. Mm-hmm. But I want that interaction. And that's what's going to drive the success of my development, is that you could get people that are visiting from away and sit down next to people that are Bahamian and share stories and make friends and have that cultural interaction. Whereas, we got to pay for $20 for valet parking. Usually we got to pay $20 for some other parking. And then we got to go in and spend $20 on a drink. Mm-hmm. Whereas I want it to be reasonably priced. I want it to be that Bahamians are going to be able to access it. So that's on the front end of what the experience is about. On the other side of things, as far as the employment opportunity, it's all going to be Bahamian. And when you build a team of Bahamians where you train them and respect them, and you respect that they're giving up 8 hours of their day to be away from their families in order to be able to work hard and get a result at the end of it, then the employer needs to give something in return. So I don't believe in giving people minimum wage. You're going to get minimum productivity. You're going to get minimum inclination to give all that they can on their job. I reward all of my team members very, very well. They get profit sharing. I've never paid anyone ever minimum wage, and I want them to be a part of it. So if it's like, hey, can someone stay late to help set up for a party later on? It's to be like, yeah, man, I want to stay there. I want to be able to help out and see this thing succeed. So inclusion. How is it going to look for Bahamians? It's going to include them. How's it going to look as far as the optics when you see it? It's going to be Bahamian architecture. It's going to be Bahamian recipes, Bahamian drinks, Bahamian music, just Bahamian the whole way through it. And it's not going to be a fake Bahamian thing where they try and have this facade that it's Bahamian. It's going to be absolutely indigenous Bahamian.
Mm-hmm. So the conch salad ain't gonna be tourist conch salad. It can be real Bahamian conch salad.
It'd be real Bahamian conch salad where I'm only going to buy, for instance, so take conch salad, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to buy where I know that the guys aren't going out and getting undersized conch, right? It's got to be a mature conch. I know that when I get it, I don't want to see a whole bunch of baby snappers on board the boat of the kits of fish that I'm buying off of the boat. It's got to be sizable Bahamian snappers, right, that are fished on a sustainable basis by using net, just hauling in everything off of it that's killing out the reefs and all the rest of it. And if it's not sustainable, then I'm buying it. And they're saying that you go there and you offer group of fingers and it's swai. You know, you mentioned earlier on about it's the small business owners that really, and the medium size, but I'd like to also say that it's also the Bahamian large business operators that contribute with the economy and the jobs and, you know, giving people mortgages and credit facilities and whatnot at work and giving them discounted prices and having people work for you for 40 years. People do it because they like work and they're dedicated to you.
Right.
So, when you look at, for instance, a foreign entity coming in and giving to the feeding network, and they're buying from a foreign-owned wholesaler, how does that stimulate the economy of the Bahamas when you've got a foreigner contributing to a foreign company that's importing food from foreign? Net, what ends up is that Bahamians get the job of, being on a telephone, taking orders, truck drivers delivering those orders, but what senior management positions or let alone ownership do you have for those establishments? You don't. So while Bahamians might be swayed in cruise lines coming in and saying, oh, we're going to produce billions of dollars in revenues, once they understand the math that the cruise lines don't explain of how much money goes out the country and what Bahamians have to endure in seeing Bahamian crown land, such as at Little Stirrup Key, that was renamed. Their name was removed. Their Bahamian name has been removed. That's not good enough for this Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. They want to name it Coco Key because it fits their narrative. They don't even need to call it the Bahamas. They could be sitting out there with their casinos open and all of the staff on the ship come off of the ship and they're working, tending bar, cooking food and serving food. So you're telling me that our Bahamians aren't good enough or you're not prepared to pay them enough because you can get a cheaper deal on board. Right. We have to pay national insurance. They don't. We have to pay for work permits for foreign staff. They don't. So we're immediately dismissed. And the only thing that we can or allowed to do by these guys is pick up garbage on the island, clean toilets, sweep sand, and watch a foreigner serve a paying guest drinks. And it happens throughout the Bahamas. It's wrong. So there ain't going to be none of that with me. It's going to be that Bahamians are employed. It's only going to be Bahamians. They're going to get fair pay, and they're going to be included. If we have a good month, we have a good month. So when I let the employees know, and we share in that benefit.
Yeah, that's so sad because, in the scenario that you just painted, you can't even argue, well, they're creating jobs for Bahamians.
But that is their argument, right? But they don't qualify what kind of jobs it is.
Right.
So if they're creating jobs, meanwhile, they've got 1,000. No, let's be realistic. They've got 3,000 employees on those ships, They got 3,000 crew members. And when they pull up to the quay, some of those crew members file off and they're serving the guests. That would be a sweep of a pen that could say, no, if you want foreign workers coming off your ship, you need to get them a work permit. They need to contribute to NIB, or you need to pay a Bahamian at least a minimum wage and agitate that they're not getting paid a minimum. Let them excel. Honestly, $260 a week, minimum wage. How do you live? How do you expect a person to live, pay rent, pay school fees, pay to eat, pay for health, medication, all these? It's impossible. And you're expecting to have somebody come over there, clean toilets, and watch a foreigner come in and take a job where they could be making more money. That net is simply wrong. And they could talk until they're blue in the face that ain't what they do, but go take a cruise and go see what they do. Because I done did it in going to these different islands and seeing how it works. And you make noise, you're gone.
Yeah, we really got to do something to change this. We've been talking about this problem for too long. This isn't something that has just come up. This is a problem that has been going on for way too long. And I applaud you, Toby, for having the stickability, for deciding that you're not going to just give up on this, for being like a bulldog. When a pit bull clamps down on you, they ain't letting go. You got to pretty much.
There you got the big dog.
Yeah.
Big dog got to come off the porch. Then big dog's off the porch and they fight. And I got no problem with that. And I tell you this, Michelle, I'll go one step further than that. If I see people bullying someone else, I got no problem standing up. I got no problem standing up to bullies. And I ain't getting bullied, but I see plenty of people around me getting bullied. And if I got to stand up for them and say, hey, man, that ain't right, then that ain't right. And all it takes is for somebody to stand up. And there's many people that sit in fear that don't want to speak out. And they're relying upon people like me to speak out. And I've received a very positive feedback from a lot of people that are saying, boy, Toby, don't you give up. And that incentivizes me, it encourages me. Thank you.
You have a very valid point in terms of people being afraid to stand up for what is right. And then when things don't go the way that they should go for Bahamians, and we all have a lot to say, a lot of outcry about, oh, this is so wrong. But if you're not willing to stand up, if you're only always looking to the same people, then you should be satisfied with what you get.
Yeah.
And this is a major problem in our country where people are just so afraid. And you, to a certain degree, you could understand why, because people are afraid of victimization.
Oh, total degree.
People are afraid of being ostracized.
Of
you
course.
speak out and they come for your jugular because they figure that you don't have you need to know your place.
Yeah. Sit small and shut up.
Exactly.
Give me a vote. Because next election, boy, I could give you everything you're asking of me. You want Crown Land lease? Bam, consider it done, my friend. You want new building? No problem. You want a clinic? Let me build you a clinic. Let me build you a new school. Let me do after school. They'll whisper sweet nothing in your ear is what they say, right? But for the people that are out there hurting, I'll say this, that the government know that all they have to do is instill fear in you. So if you, like the gentleman that called in earlier on, he was waiting 18 years for his Crown Land lease. You think if he was to speak up and say, hey, it's been 17 years, I need you all to hurry up and get my lease straight, that goes straight on the back burner, right?
Yeah.
So all you got to do is make a promise to a person to say, I could get you straight. Don't you worry. When we get in, oh, I get an after school care straight for you. Don't you worry about it. I getting you a job, Ministry of Health. Don't you worry about that. So people say, oh, okay, he done promised me. I have that faith that he's going to deliver on that. And then they keep quiet. They ain't saying, well, hold on, I need a job at Ministry of Health. And I'd also like my Crown Land looked at, or I need help with medical expenses or something like that. No, people just will sit quiet on the faith that something's going to be delivered to them. And then, oh yeah, well, at Junkanoo. Oh, well, it's Christmas. Oh, we're going summer break. Oh, and it's always something. They sitting up there getting, sitting up to the trough, getting a full belly, right? Getting all their deals, getting their boys straight. And everyone else is just sitting small. And so I don't blame people for not speaking out, but if more of you would, I'd appreciate it. I think it'd be good for the country. And right now we've got this polarized set of people that are governing us that don't necessarily look out for everybody. When they say we're acting for the people of the Bahamas, they might just mean, their crew.
Right. Yeah, this is a problem. And I'm with you on that. It just can't be the same people speaking up all the time and everybody else sitting back because you're too scared. And then anyway, let me stay focused. The time to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272. We're not putting out the WhatsApp line today because we are expecting in about 15 minutes or so to go live to the Lyndon Pinling International Airport for the arrival of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, William and Kate, who will be visiting the Bahamas for a couple of days as part of the Queen's, which celebration this is again?
70th.
70th. Okay, 70th celebration. All right. So we're talking to Toby Smith today, who is hoping to get his own bit of Crown land so that he can develop the lighthouse property on Paradise Island, beachfront property, into something that Bahamians can be proud of, that can contribute to our economy, that will be something that visitors from around the world can come and enjoy an authentically Bahamian experience. You know, we often hear about ease of doing business, and the Bahamas is notorious for being a place where we're one of the worst when it comes to ease of doing business. Some places you go around the world and you can get things done so quickly and so easily, but the Bahamas is notorious for not being one of those places. And we keep hearing successive governments talk about changing that and making it so that we have a better rating as it relates to ease of doing business. But as bad as it is for the foreigner to come in here, the investor to come in here, it's 10 times worse for the Bahamian. So if they think they got it bad in terms of ease of doing business in the Bahamas, they need to try being a Bahamian.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we need to do to once and for all change that whole idea that foreign is better? And if you ain't coming with a foreign face, a foreign accent, then Toby can wait. That's just Toby. That's just Toby. It's a national problem, really.
Yeah. So on a scale, right? If you look at the ease of doing business, they do a survey, and in that survey, I think it's 134 countries, and we were number 118.
Not good.
So no, not good, not good. So the worst would be 134. So we're just a few spots above like Haiti and some African countries, and so yeah. We're not doing with some Latin countries, not doing too well there. We're certainly not number one.
Far from it.
Right? Which would be something we would hopefully aspire to. So when you look at the ease of doing business, and then they say, well, we're going to have this, government portal. That's a good step, right? Surely you should just be able to go online and get your national insurance standing, or be able to go online and make a payment for your car license, but the system down. But let's figure out why there's not a motivation to actually be efficient. It's because if we're efficient in the front door, then ain't no one could be going around to the back door.
There you go.
And the back door is where the money at. So let's keep things really blocked up at the front door. And if you want waiting that big long line because we're inefficient at the front door, then that's on you. Whereas if you want to come around at the back door, it's party on. So that's how things go. And there's not a motivation to restructure things unless somebody gets, a cushy contract for like a health visa or, something like that. What's the motivation to make it efficient? There isn't one, as far as I can see. And when you go to developed countries where you could actually, do a few clicks and it resolves the issue, you could submit an application. Why isn't it that, for instance, Crown Land applications aren't online?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that before you get to the person that applied this month, you have to clear those 35,000 other applications? And they could give people a no. No, we done sold that land. No, that land ain't around no more. No, we ain't developing that area. Right? But how many Crown Land applications, for instance, right now are looking for farmland in Abaco? They should just be able to pick up Abaco, give me all the Crown Land applications for Marsh Harbor. Right, we've got 20 of them. Of those 20, 5 are applying for farming. We need self-sufficiency as far as food reliance is concerned. These are all the people that are here. All right, guys, gather them all together. Right, you get 5 acres, you get 2 acres, you get 7 acres, and done. But who getting Crown Land? These foreign investors just come in and say, yeah, I want that. Yeah, okay, here you go. Months between RCL finding out that I had a lease and then being issued a lease was months.
And here you are fighting for 10 years.
10 years. And it took me 8 years to actually get the lease. And now I'm fighting for almost 2 years trying to get that lease validated.
My God. All right, listen, we got to take a break because we're going to be, like I said, at 3:30-ish. We're going to be throwing this show to Shelley Lewis down at LPIA. So I think I better do this final break now in case they don't come back to me in time for the ending of the show. So let's take this quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to wrap things up with Toby Smith, or at least until they call, we'll have Toby on. I'm talking about his situation with trying to get this development done on Paradise Island. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Welcome back to GP's Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with Toby Smith. And Toby, we may have to wrap this up in another 4 minutes or so. They did tell me that they would call once the Royals touch down, and then we're going to throw it to them. So I'm
Always
going
wrap it
to,
up.
huh?
Always wrap it up.
Yeah. So let's imagine that that's going to happen in another 4 minutes or so. So let's wrap this whole thing up. What are you hoping to accomplish? What are you hoping to not accomplish, but what are you hoping to see happen at the end of this this court case?
At the end of this court case, I'm hoping that the judge decides that my lease is valid and he says, government, stop skinning up with Toby and allow him to recognize what he's been trying to do. I'll be a shining example for what Bahamian can do once they are not impeded, and showcase the Bahamas on a global level. And then Philip Brave Davis can look back and he could say, you know what? I authorized Toby to be able to do that. Let him take all the credit for it. That's no problem. And then this same model that's used for the Paradise Island Lighthouse, that we replicate that, not necessarily me, but others, to say, hey, Toby, what did you have to do to get your project off the ground, that I could hopefully have an ease of doing business for them, so that our 12 lighthouses in the Bahamas that are world recognized, world renowned, can be fixed up, restored, and we could have like lighthouse tourism. But right now it's just like people are lighthouse blocking, and we need to stop that.
And we need to encourage Bahamians more who, if you have the means or you have the persons working with you who can provide the means, come on, man, let's get our people involved in our own tourism product. It can't be where it's only the foreigners who are able to benefit from our things. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's high time, I believe, that that we see ourselves as worthy.
Valuable. Yeah, man, we are. And qualified and lovely people. You know, there's a few bad apples in both politics and in the general public. But I mean, Bahamians are good people, man. We got a great product to be able to showcase. And it shouldn't just be the big resorts that are getting it. I mean, Atlantis is foreign owned. Baha Mar is foreign owned. You name it. Tell me a Bahamian resort that's Bahamian owned. You know, in the Bahamas, is able to succeed and thrive and not having to beg and compromise. Look at Grand Bahama. The economy there is stagnant. You don't think that there's applications there to be able to develop land in some way that's going to be higher in Bahamians? Yeah, it is. I believe in Bahamians. I know that we could do it. We have go to a Bahamian party. There's a fantastic time. Go to Harbor Island right now in spring break. Man, it's jamming, it's thriving. Money going around town, money staying in the Bahamians' pockets. You think we can't do that all around the different settlements in the Bahamas? Yes, we can. Do it legit, which is what I'm trying to do, is every step of the way do it in a legitimate way. And I want the freedom to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't too much to ask, right?
I don't think so. I with you.
Brave, call me, please. We need to talk.
All right, let's see what happens. Is that a caller for the show,
That's
or is
brave
that wouldn't that be something? I don't think so, though, because I'm pretty sure he's preparing for the royals to arrive.
Yeah.
What's happening, Jason? That's Okay, so that's not a caller for the show. Okay, all right. So we're going to get them on the line, and then we're going to throw it to them to hear, as it happens, the arrival of the royals to the Bahamas. A whole program has been laid out for them over the next couple of days. I know that they seemingly had a good time in Jamaica.
Irie.
And so I'm anticipating that based on the program that we have laid out for them, that they will also enjoy their time here in the Bahamas, whether or not you sit on the side of, we shouldn't have paid for them to come or not. The fact is that they are going to be here, and we want them to enjoy this experience because, quite frankly, them being here is going to bring a lot of attention to the Bahamas from a tourism perspective. Let's face it, they are who they are, and people follow them. And obviously, it will bring some attention to the Bahamas, the fact that they are here. The last thing we need is for there to be any kind of negative headline associated with this visit. So I'm calling on all Bahamians to behave yourself, please.
Represent us well, Bahamas.
Yeah. Talk to me, Jason. What? What does that mean? Huh? Okay, there. All right. So we're gonna, Toby, I want to say thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Michelle.
being here.
I
And
appreciate you, and to your listeners, thank you very much for listening in. It's a pleasure to be with Michelle. Thank you.
thank you. All the best to you.
Thank you.
All right. We are now going to throw it to Shelley Lewis, who is down at LPIA, where the Royals, I believe, are touching down or about to touch down. And Shelley, take it away.
Hi, good afternoon, Michelle, and good afternoon, Bahamas. Yes, Michelle, we're down here at the LPIA airport, anxiously awaiting the arrival of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and they're expected to arrive here about around 4:30. We have the police, the Royal Bahamas Police Force band, and they're going to welcome them with an awesome performance, and we've got the media, the local and international media here awaiting the arrival. I also have with me the Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Governor General, Mr. Jack Thompson, and he's going to just give us a rundown as to what can be expected within the next hour.
Thank you very much. It's certainly a pleasure. It's always a pleasure and a delight to speak to the Bahamian public and certainly to the wider audience. Yes, we are here in anticipation of the RAF Voyager, which will arrive, as you said, in the 4:30 thereabouts. They will be received by His Excellency, the Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius Smith, and Lady Smith. We will also have on hand the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and one or two other. Thereafter, the Royal Highnesses will proceed to the office of the Prime Minister, where we expect there to be the exchange, pleasantries, and a private and a close chat between the Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Davis, and the Royal Highnesses. After that, they will retire for the night. You can imagine what a day it must have been traveling from the second leg of their Caribbean visit or journey, coming into the Bahamas from Jamaica. I understand both the princes in Belize and Jamaica went very, very well. And tomorrow at shortly after 10, there will be a wonderful combined school assembly. This will take place at the Sybil Shawn School on Carmichael Road. Following that, they will proceed to the Garden of Remembrance, right there by the south on Parliament Street or Bank Street, whichever way you look at it. We expect a number of groupings to be there, including the persons who were in the forefront, healthcare workers, dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic or that issue. The EMT will be represented Red Cross, Salvation Army, the GGYA, the Queen's Mothers Guild Club will be there. And so that is expected to be fantastic. And this will be an opportunity to say thanks to that group. Following the meet and greet in the Senate House, the Royal Highnesses will proceed to Bay Street, where we say it's showtime. There will be the performances by the band, the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band will put on a wonderful show. There will also be the Junkanoo. They will retire, and then later on they will come back for the regatta. They will return to the Monarchy foreshore. We're looking at the weather. Interesting pickup of breeze, but wind is good for sailing. So we hope all is well with that. Tomorrow night there's the Black Tie event at Bahama. And during the black tie event, we expect to have the Prime Minister, the Governor General, and the Duke will bring remarks. The Duchess will speak at the school, and the Duke will speak at the black tie.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, thank you very much for that lineup of what the Royals visit is all about. And as we also know, they will be traveling to Abaco and Grand Bahama for appearances on those two islands. And we're really looking forward to a spectacular performance by our local bands and organizations. And, you know, we want to give the Royals a Bahamian style welcome here. And as I see, the groups are growing out here. People are getting ready in anticipation of their arrival. And we'll bring all the details as they become available to you. And as Michelle has mentioned, they are expected to arrive around 4:30. Back to you, Michelle.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. I wasn't sure if she was going to be coming back to me. So luckily I asked Toby to stick around just in case. So let's get Toby back on screen. He is still here. Thank you, Toby, for hanging around just in case.
It's a pleasure.
So the Royals will be arriving, she said, at 4:30 p.m. Thanks, Shelley. I'm sure you can tune into Global 99.5 FM News, where Shelley will have full coverage, I'm sure, of the royal visit. And this is interesting because there are some people who are commenting. Not everybody's happy about the royal visit. Some people, we have someone, Matthew says, tell the royals to pay our debts as an apology. Okay. Not everybody's excited about this royal visit, Toby. Some people think that we should cut ties altogether, become a republic. And do you think that would make things any better for the business person who's trying to get stuff done in this country?
I don't think it would actually affect trying to get business done in the country unless you're royal and applying for it. But I think that how people here love to be able to include the royals for the pomp and pageantry. They love to be getting that Sir title and lobbying for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they'd be in too much of a rush to get rid of it. And I respect other people's opinions. I respect other people. And if their opinion is that they oppose the royal family, I'll give it a listen and I can make my own decision if I agree with them or not. And I'll say this, a lot of people have some very valid reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at what was done in the colonies and throughout the world, then it's not something that I don't think even the royal family is perhaps proud of.
Mm.
And when you get that reparation between two parties of ones that were the wrongdoers and those that have been wronged, I think it's an opportune moment for those that have done wrong to be able to recognize and apologize and make reparation and try and move on. There's nothing wrong with trying to bring people together. And I think that Nelson Mandela was a beautiful example of that.
Mm-hmm.
In being locked up and being segregated and being minimalized, and had the fortitude to go through and do what he did with Willie Mandela at his side and bring about, hey, no, that wasn't right, what went on with apartheid.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually going to form a commission and a ministry of reparations
Mm-hmm.
and forgiveness and togetherness. And I mean, I've been to South Africa, and I think that they're, wonderful people. When you look at Desmond Tutu, you look at Nelson Mandela, and I think that the royals have an opportunity and an open mic to say, hey, we give empathy to what has occurred, and those were atrocities. They weren't right, and forgive what has happened. And I think that the communities or the people that have a problem are willing to accept an apology from them.
I was talking to somebody today about, we were talking about this whole idea of becoming a republic. And, you look at what has happened in Barbados, and they're saying, well, if Barbados can do it, then why can't we? And one of the things that I said to that person is, I think before we start talking about becoming a republic, we have to fix the problem of poor governance, poor leadership. Because imagine with the level of corruption that we are experiencing in this country now. And when I say corruption, I'm not talking about just from a government level. You just talked about it. You want something done, you got to go through the back door. You got to pay somebody through the back door in order to get something done. Meanwhile, the front door, the line is wrapping around the building because people are benefiting from the inefficiencies. So if we have, I'm going to come to you right now, caller, if we have the level of corruption that we have now, where we supposedly have, even though we have cut ties with Great Britain through independence, we still haven't cut ties. We still go into the Privy Council to decide on matters that happen here in the Bahamas. What if there was no, what's the word I'm looking for? What if there was no checkpoint where with the level of corruption that we are experiencing now?
What level of oversight is there to demand accountability in order to make people responsible and hold them accountable? So as you mentioned, Privy Council, how do you exhaust your legal resources here in the Bahamas? That right now is that you've got the court, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and then ultimately the Privy Council, right? So when you look at a justice making a ruling to say that if you're born here, you're born here, but the government of the Bahamas that's supposed to be representing Bahamians is fighting who are potential Bahamians, is fighting against that and saying we're going to let it run its course because we want it the full ears of the Privy Council and whatnot. And when it arrives at the Privy Council, they say, yeah, they're Bahamian, they're born there of an unwed Bahamian mother. Yeah, the women should have equal rights. That's a fundamental.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people are prepared to dispose of it and say a republic, I mean, aren't we already a republic? I mean, a lot of people refer to us as being a banana republic or operating like a banana republic. But if we demonstrate that we got banana republic tendencies, then how can we deny a branding like that?
Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS. Caller, hi, you're on the air. Okay, what's going on with you, caller? Going once?
Caller, where you is?
Okay, I don't know what's going on with that person. Maybe they walked away or something. Yeah. The telephone number is to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272. Sitting here with Toby Smith, we've been talking for most of the show with regard to his own battle to get access to Crown land that was he had received a lease from the former administration, and then they sort of said the lease wasn't really valid, and they started talking to somebody else about the same property. And so we've been talking now for this whole show about that whole saga that has been going on now 10 years, with the hope that he will be able to get it resolved once it goes to the courts at the end of this month. And as we sit here and have this conversation, as you know, the Royals are about to touch down in another, according to Shelley Lewis, 45 minutes or so. William and Kate, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, are making their way here to the Bahamas for a 2-day visit. There are some who are excited about the visit and some who are not so much excited because they figure, number one, we shouldn't have to pay for this. And number two, why are we still tied to Great Britain? What is the benefit of the Bahamas still being tied to Great Britain? And when we look at what has happened in nations like Barbados that have officially made the cut, now a republic, is this a direction that we should be going in? Our telephone lines again, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. And we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. Caller, hello.
Yes, good afternoon. How you doing now?
Excellent. How are you?
Okay, what I'm calling for is during COVID and lockdown, we really didn't hear from England, and they never really donate nothing to the Bahamas. We heard from United States, even Russia, Europe, China. So what are we paying for this cost for? Did you ever heard that England donated anything to the Bahamas during the lockdown or the COVID?
I am not 100% certain on that, one way or the other.
I'm telling you, 100% sure they never donated nothing to the Bahamas. So why are we taking on this cost?
I don't know if that's absolutely correct though.
If the queen had sent the other son that she despise, which like to hang out in the nightclubs and the strip joints, yeah, I could see that that's happening.
Not son, grandson. The people, the young man who's coming here is not her son; it's her grandson.
Right, but doesn't she despise the other grandson?
Disbar, strong word.
Yeah, but that would have been party. That would have been party in the Bahamas.
He and his wife. Hold on, caller. Hold on. He and his wife decided that they wanted to walk away from some of the responsibilities of living in the royal life, some of the royal responsibilities, and so that is what caused the rift. I can't say that he was disbarred, or whatever word you use. He walked away. All right, so let's get that. Let's not come on the radio and make statements that have no validity. All right.
Yeah, but the main thing is, could you find out what did England donate during the lockdown and the COVID from it?
I can find out. I can't find out this very second, but I could look into it.
But you have callers and reliable source. Let them call in and check it out. I can be listening to you.
All right. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Telephone numbers to call. I can't say that they didn't contribute anything. I don't know. I don't know. Like, for instance, immediately after, well, that was Dorian. That wasn't COVID. That was Dorian.
Dorian. I went to Abaco.
They were actively involved.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I my hats off to them. And so I can speak for what I know, and I can speak for what I've seen.
They didn't donate some vaccines to us?
I don't know specifically. I mean, that is probably an easy Google search. But
yeah.
What I can tell you is that Dorian left Abaco on Tuesday, and by Wednesday I was up there, and the bounty, the British Navy ship Bounty
they did
Day,
come
I think
with,
it was called.
with aid. They did.
Was already up there. They were already in the Caribbean, and I could tell you their helicopter was right there, and they helped me out big time in trying to rescue one of my boys up there.
Mm.
And they had a helicopter over there hovering the GPS position that I gave him, and the fellas were on the ground, and at the airport I went up there the following weekend, and they had they were all out there trying their very, very best. So I hear the gentleman that, what benefit does the Bahamas get in paying for their trip? In my mind, it's good international exposure for the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So if people are attracted to coming to the Bahamas through seeing it, I think that's a good thing, that it's bringing positive energy into the market for why not a vacation in the Bahamas? The Royals did.
Love them, hate them, or in between. They are perhaps the most watched couple in the world, and or right up there among them, and people follow them. And so the fact that they're going to be here in the Bahamas is going to shed positive light on the Bahamas. I just hope our people know how to act, because we live special sometimes.
Well, you could always have an opposing view. It's just that in structuring your view, it should be out of given due respect. You could still have an opposing view. Just do it respectfully, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know that there's certain, like I understand that the Rastas aren't too happy about what's going on.
I'm
but
sure.
if they convey their opinion in a respectful way, then I'm sure that will be reciprocated back to them in a respectful way. And again, you try and get that reparation with some empathy put in there.
Yeah,
on both sides.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of people planning protests, and like you said, that's all well and good. That's fine. That is a sign of democracy.
Yeah, and you could do it on a mature level, right?
Yeah,
Maturity as a country, but also as a person. So while we might not be able to name off the things that as England is, what have you done for me lately? I'm sure that there's some positive and negatives that could be brought up.
It would have been nice though, Toby, if your facility was up and running and was one of the things that they could have included on the stop,
lighthouses. The reason that the lighthouses were built in the Bahamas is because of the British. I mean, we got a dozen of them, and we've actually, Abaco Lighthouse is the only hand-wound kerosene-fired lighthouse left in the world.
Wow.
In operation. And in San Salvador, they've got all the mechanical set up to be another kerosene-fired, hand-wound lighthouse, so we could have the last 2 remaining in the world. But again, we're getting lighthouse blocked.
Let's go to the phone lines. We have another caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, Michelle, I have a brief question for Toby. Toby.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Hi.
Amos Junior Miller here.
Yes, Mr.
From your experience with these hotels, okay, have you ever known any hotel in the past selling coconut? Like the coconut right off the tree.
Have I ever known any hotels selling coconut?
Yes.
As opposed to a Bahamian vendor. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes, in opposed to a Bahamian coconut. I went on to Paradise Island in 1983, okay?
What's
and
your
when
name?
I went there, I got to
Miller
meet
Jr.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, Amos Junior Miller, right?
Amos Junior Miller, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you can just call me King Amos. That's because that's what everyone on Paradise Island is called.
Amos, you used to sell coconut?
No.
Oh.
I'm just drawing an illustration. When I went there in 1983, only Lionel Johnson and a couple other fellas, okay, 1 or 2 already passed away, including my good friend Lionel Johnson.
Lionel was a short, stocky fella used to sell coconuts on the beach, right? Yeah, I know him. I used to be selling pineapple on the beach in 1983, right on Cabbage Beach.
Well, anyway, the point I don't want to take up all of Michelle's show and take up all your time because I love to hear you speak. The point I'm making here, I came up with an idea to rent the umbrellas to the tourists, okay?
Yeah.
In a time when Atlantis was spending millions of dollars to bring some white people from South America to Dirty Fire Beach with these so-called irons and what, I don't know where those sticks came from, so-called touch to make it look like we some behind God's back type of people. And not a long story short, Michelle, 530 years after Black people were forcibly taken from our homeland, our forefathers, that is.
Right.
Okay, Black people. We have a prime minister who watched a woman in Barbados leave her country to the light. Okay, with this basically knowledge of common sense. Okay, and this is the first thing Brave Davis gonna say. We're not gonna go that way. See, this is the egregious darkness that we're talking about. All right. Listen, anyone with common sense knows. I'm having a problem with Atlantis. Yeah, sure, but the lawyer's gonna straighten it out. And see, like I told Brookfield's Hospitality Management a long time ago, I don't care how much hundreds of billions of dollars you have. You're not bigger than the law of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Listen, Amos Junior Miller removes Hubert Ingram. I helped to remove Christie. I helped to remove Minnis. And I helped to remove Davis if he thinks this is a game. So I want Chester Cooper to understand. You're his little short self. You could stand down there. You could stand down there and welcome your master. But that's the master. See, you're hiding yourself from the people because the poor people, according to Job, the poor is hide themselves. So watching you hide yourself from the people is no big deal because everybody know why the people are poor and hiding themselves. You all made them poor. 530 years later, you're still practicing this darkness with this rich from Great Britain. Listen, tell Great Britain, Queen Elizabeth II, Amos Junior Miller was born to tell her just this word and then go back to Yahweh, Elohim. I curse that family.
Okay, Amos. Okay, yeah, Amos. Poor Amos, you get, yeah, okay.
But let me ask you something, right, Amos?
Breathe.
If, for instance...
Oh, he's still there?
Oh, Amos.
How long you need me to go, darling?
Oh,
Amos,
Lord.
hear me out, my brother.
Let Toby speak, please.
Let me ask you something, right?
Toby, finish your show. I said all that to tell Toby, I support you.
Thank you, my brother. And you all hot up, but don't get your pressure up, man. We can work this out.
It's too late for that.
Yeah, but
all right, thanks for calling.
But imagine, right, when you look at the scenario of Cabbage Beach, and I could talk with personal experience on Cabbage Beach. In 1983, I used to buy pineapples right under the bridge, 65 cents for a small one, and 85 cents for a big one from the produce exchange from a Lutheran pineapple. I'd sell them on PI Beach, walking up and down, and that was my lunch money for school, right? So I know the coconut vendors, the hair braiders, the ladies who sell T-shirts, coral necklace, all the whole 9 yards. Why is it that if the government wants to provide beach access to Bahamians, why don't they go there next to the Grand and buy that land so that Bahamians can have access to Cabbage Beach?
We have a caller on the line. We got to take this.
Why,
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Why don't they allow me to do what I need to do over on PI? Let me do my thing. Let me be able to welcome Bahamians and our guests over there and thrive, and let them concentrate on making public access to Cabbage Beach so that Bahamians can mix and mingle with the tourists and do their thing. The way that it is right now, he started out asking me if I knew selling coconut over to Atlantis. We can't go over no beach and be selling no coconut no more.
No, because they bringing in the coconut with the name on it.
Well, like we ain't got coconut. The coconut factory just opened up on East Bay Street by the tourist police station, right? Support our own. You know what they had to go through to be able to sell coconuts in the Bahamas?
Anywho, Toby.
Don't tell Minus that, though. He'll go by them and go lock them up.
Wow. Listen, again, it only points right back to what we've been saying on this show, you know. And you say you're for Bahamians, then you put your money where your mouth is. Display it through your actions.
Absolutely.
Not enough to say it, and then we're not feeling it.
It sounds good with a political chant. Oh, we believe in Bahamians.
Yeah.
But actually demonstrating it and putting it into action by actually allowing Bahamians to thrive rather than this ease of doing business. Oh, go get your letter from NIB. Go get your letter from Ministry of Works. Why, for a home-based business, do you have to go to Ministry of Works every year if you don't move location? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Them type of things. So
say damn type of things.
I noticed that I have no missed call yet from Brave, but Brave, I counting on you.
He waiting till the show finish.
You're right. Till
no,
the show
no. I forget the people about to land, and then he got to receive them. So as soon as this finish,
hands.
Yeah.
You know.
You can hear from him after the visit.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Did you get invited to the black tie event, Michelle?
No, but I kind of glad because that means I've got to go get hair done and nails done and fine dress and thing. Listen.
Your hair looks very pretty, I must say.
Thank you. Now, my queen got invited, and I'm happy with that.
She did?
Yeah, she
Is she attending?
Of course.
Does she have a date? Is it a +1 event?
Well, I can't answer whether or not she has a date.
Okay, all right.
But
because I don't have any plans, just in case.
But
I could probably chaperone her.
I'm not into all of that. You got it. It's too much preparation, man.
Yeah.
So I prefer to watch from afar.
Well, I don't. It don't take me long to clean up. So last minute, if you need to call
I will
me,
find out from her
there.
if she needs a date, and
I have a black tie.
But you can't call it a date though, because she ain't supposed to. No, it has to be chaperone. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I meant +1.
Anyway, Toby, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Really appreciate it as always, and call me back anytime.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's my time. Got to get out of here. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We will be back on tomorrow with a tomorrow's Friday, right? What a week gone. How did that happen? Wow. Tomorrow, TGIF show tomorrow, where we have an open line show giving you an opportunity to get off your chest whatever's on your mind. See you then. Have a good one.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions